Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Long time no talk. We're going to do some Packernet After Dark, so if you're here for that, then that's great. New callers do go directly to the front of the line. We kind of have a new caller, although I know who it is, and I always called in before, so I don't know if you got a new phone number or what, but it doesn't matter. It showed up as a new caller, so we're going to do that. But first, Ticket King is sponsoring this YouTube channel. Very, very grateful to Ticket King for that. Obviously, the YouTube channel... I just slammed my bubbly, so you have to excuse me. The YouTube channel is not as big as the podcast. A lot of sponsors are not going to look this direction, but they are Packer fans, and so they wanted to help me and Clayton out with their YouTube channels and wanted to reach out to you guys. So if you're doing anything, need some tickets, please check out Ticket King. They are Wisconsin-based, lowest ticket prices. They have offices in Green Bay and Milwaukee. They'll hook you up. Obviously, later on when we get to Packer games, that'll be more of a, thing that you're definitely going to need. But in the meantime, I mean, there's still stuff to do. Get some tickets from Ticket King. All right, let's get started. I should have, you know what I forgot? I should, no, dang it. Let me see if I can get him a link real quick. I'm just going to shoot it to him. We'll see if he's down. I keep telling him that he's invited, and then I keep forgetting. And now I can't find his name. Apparently, I haven't sent him a message in a long time. Just stalling. Mr. Matt Ramage, if you're around, you're welcome to jump on. Because it's Matt that called in. And I thought it would be funny. It's X is over capacity. Please wait. What do you mean you're over capacity? What does that even mean? There we go. If you're interested. All right. So if he jumps on, he jumps on. I'll tell you what, I'm going to save his call. Let's just get started. We've stalled enough with Uncle Rico.
Yo, Ryan. It's your uncle. Rico.
What's up, man?
Hey, what do we
No,
think
Jake,
of
we're not doing a
Matt
mock draft.
Bo Melton's brother. I don't know if he's any good at football, but it'd be cool to have brothers. Brothers are cool. You're my brother, Ryan. No, I'm your uncle. Similar thing. Also, we don't miss tease balling. I mean, I don't miss tease balling. Does anybody really miss tease balling?
I don't know.
Maybe a little bit of tease balling, but
you been drinking?
No,
Uncle
not
Rico?
Really. And does Jerry Jones remind you of President Biden?
Jerry Jones.
Rico out.
I don't know if I should even touch that one. Not sure where we're going with that. I mean, they're both very old and very gray and very wrinkly, but aside from that, I don't know where we're going with that. By the way, we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to set mile markers, and if we hit it, the calls are going to keep going. So we'll do a normal show, whatever. But then as we get there, like if we hit another 100, we'll go all night. We'll see how the numbers do. The last show we did, it didn't quite, skyrocket or whatever, but we'll see how she does. Beep boop, beep beep boop. Kyle from Madison, what's up?
So,
did you have a question? That I did. I just like Uncle Rico, but Max Melton. I got to be honest. I got to go back and watch Max Melton. I have an anti-Max Melton bias just because Packer fans are in love with the guy because he's the brother of Bo Melton. At least that's my assumption. Like I have this thought in my head that Packer fans are obsessed with him because he's Bo Melton's brother, and I have been discriminating against Bo Melton, Max Melton as a result of that. So that's my bad. That's on me. I know Jake was just talking in the last show about how good he is and how he's positive, assuming he's available when our turn comes around, that we're going to take him. So I need to unbias that and come back and have a more fair assessment. Kyle and Madison.
So, can you give me a statistical argument in any way?
No.
Why I should believe that the best is yet to come from A.J. Dillon? Or do the stats pretty much... What do the stats say on him? I mean, I know what I feel about him, but is there any reason to believe that he could pop off this year? Or have we seen what there is to see?
Well, I mean, you're not going to be happy to see what PFF has to say because they love the guy. Last year was certainly a down year, but I mean, this is the production of an elite football player right here. So they are in love with him. Now, obviously, the Packers and the rest of the NFL wildly disagree, which I think is fair because every time I've watched him, I didn't, even this year, in the quote unquote elite years, I don't remember. I remember being annoyed by watching him. I mean, yeah, obviously he does some good things or whatever, but just from a vision standpoint, he tended to annoy me. I do think he'll be better than last year. Last year, he was uniquely bad, as you can see, right? I mean, he's gotten worse every year. 5.2, 4.3, 4.2, 3.4. As far as the yards per attempt, he's gone down every year. So I would expect better than this, because this is awful, right? 3.4 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's his worst year ever. So do I think he's going to pop off? Do I think he's going to be like this elite player? No. Do I think he's going to be better than he was last year and he's going to earn the contract and then some? I do. I think he's going to overproduce based on his contract, which was pretty much free. Nico.
Brian, this is Nico from Idaho.
Sure
so
is.
During the call dump, one of my calls I had a song idea I wanted to sing for you guys.
Do it. Please do it.
But I did. I had a
Sing.
little, like a week and a half ago, you know?
Sing.
And it just came to me when I was driving. It took me a while to finally get a time to, scratch up some lyrics and put it to some guitar. But I did that tonight. It's maybe a slightly older topic, but I feel it needs at least one more revisit. So here we go. I'm actually going to play it on another device. So hopefully it sounds okay. So let me key it up here.
That sounds
All right,
gross.
here we go.
Is that Guns N' Roses?
Returned to the after dark just the other day. Learning about my Packers is really, really great.
This is what you tune in for, folks.
Talking about draft picks and who's gonna lead the team. Gets me all excited and sometimes I just want to scream. Then the podcast drifted, all hope was gone. Now all we want to say is damn bomb, damn bomb, damn bomb, oh, damn bomb. This ain't no Oh, no, it stopped. What? Oh, man, let me call that.
Yeah, let's start over. You know what I was thinking of? I was trying to think of what the song is that kind of like the riff or whatever reminded me of. It was Glycerin by Bush. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it made me think of. He didn't call back, so we're I mean, you could reach out to Nico if you want him to sing that to you, I guess.
So apparently I have to keep touching the screen of the other device I'm playing it on. So let me kind of pick it up, I think, where we left off here.
Oh,
Sort of.
There's only like this much, but I guess it just decided it's not going to transcribe it. So we do have a part 2. Here you go. Oh, my Lord. What? Nope, it died. That's why. All right, Uncle Rico.
Ryan!
Hey.
Uncle Rico here.
What's up?
I was just curious, how many of your listeners you think have ran out and bought their significant other some secret spray? Because,
What?
just to spray them. Yeah. What else? Something else. I forgot what it was. Oh, yeah.
What's going on?
Okay, well, I don't remember. So, Rico out. Have a good night.
Does anybody know what that means? What is secret spray? I don't know. I don't know if I should ask that question or not. Okay, we'll move on.
Hey, Ryan, TJ from Alabama.
What's up?
Just wanted to check in. Actually feeling pretty good about the Packers. Have no idea what the Bears and Vikings are doing, which obviously I'm fine with that, but really no idea. The Bears seem to be acting like their window is open right now, which their window is not even, I can't even see their window from here. But trade.
Can we pause on that for a second, because that is hilarious. I saw somebody actually post that, like the time for the Bears is now, their window is now. What are you talking about? They're in a rebuild time right now. It's not quite tear down and rebuild. I think they're pretty well tore down, but they have a lot of pieces, including a quarterback, to acquire. It's almost as if they just assume, like, oh yeah, we're going to draft this guy. He's just going to come in. He'll be elite day one. No big deal. So we got to win a Super Bowl like now. The only reason you have to win a Super Bowl now is because you just paid a really old wide receiver that's expensive on a 1-year contract. That's the only reason you need to kind of hurry this up. Otherwise, there's no hurry. I get it from the standpoint of, like I said on the podcast, the guy's trying to save his job. That's why he's doing this, which is why he's doing the wrong things. He shouldn't be doing these things. But, yeah, it's so funny to watch the Bears act as though they're in a win now thing. Like, bro, you haven't even drafted your quarterback yet, much less like, oh man, he's going to leave soon. Dumbest crap ever, I swear.
For old wide receivers and free agents that are mediocre at best, I don't see it. I don't get it. They're going to have to get super, super lucky in the draft, and based on history, I don't see that either as far as them developing a quarterback. So don't get that. And then the Vikings, with the people they're signing, obviously kind of a little bit of bad luck with, it's not bad luck, but losing Kirk Cousins obviously is the biggest deal, and they don't, well, they could have done something. I could see where they didn't have a lot of options there. Atlanta just wanted them and stole them, but even with the people that are Minnesota's signing, like Grenard and that, they're good players, but I don't think any of them are as good as Danielle Hunter, or even Jordan Hicks for that matter. So they're kind of taking a step back even without losing Kirk Cousins.
That was another thing I just saw. I'm so annoyed because I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh boy, here comes the media. They're going to start tearing them apart. And there's just, first of all, the amount of freaking kid gloves that get used for the Bears is unbelievable. All I'm hearing is they did right by Justin. They did right by Justin. Bro, this was a debacle. Just say it. This was a cluster, and they got screwed. And this was terrible. Look at what they had to do. The amount of capital they gave up to acquire a guy that they just flipped for a sixth. And you want to sit here and talk about, the headline is, they did right by Justin. Good freaking Lord. And then, yeah, the Vikings, I saw, was a similar thing. They're like, oh, I love that they picked up the pass rusher. They went and got younger. That's true. That is true. Can we also mention how he's significantly worse than the guy that just left? Apparently we can't. We just got to love everybody. Everybody's great. Just freaking stupid.
So I don't see either one of those teams. Detroit looks solid to me. And it looks like they are competent. And they look like they have adults in the room as far as their general management is concerned, because they had some weaknesses on defense, and they've signed some real defensive players. I think they have adults in the room, and Detroit's going to be a real team to deal with for a number of years. As far as Packers are concerned, love Xavier McKinney, really warming up to the Josh Jacobs move as we kind of see that playing out and what we're getting, and more of a workhorse back. I love the concept that the draft is wide ass open, that we really are in a position where we don't have to do anything short of probably offensive line, where we really need some more interior depth. But other than that, we got 11 picks, 5 in the top 100, and we really can do just about what anything. And I do fall into the "in Goody we trust" camp, so that's kind of where I align. And I hate to see Jones go, obviously, but for me, I got love the dude. Really hate to see him go, but doesn't bother me at all that he signed with Minnesota. Hey, if Minnesota was offering $1 more, go for it, my man. Appreciate your time. And in all honesty, I'm glad he went to Minnesota as opposed to Dallas or San Francisco, because Minnesota ain't got nothing.
Right,
So love you,
exactly.
Jones, but you ain't going to get in our way for a Super Bowl. So, all right, that's it. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, and we had talked about that when the question was posed. I mean, Minnesota is one of the top options as far as rivals go, just because they're not going to do anything. And I agree. Like, I think the only thing I don't like is the adversarial nature of it. Jones leaves, and I think that the fact that there is that small gap between the two teams kind of makes it feel like there isn't that closeness that you kind of thought was there. I don't want to say loyalty, because it's not just a Jones thing, that goes both ways. But yeah, it's just the adversarial nature of it. Like, it was a great ride, and in a matter of a year or two, Jones is going to be, enshrined as a great Green Bay Packer. He's going to come back. He's going to give some kind of a speech, and all that stuff. It's like, so why do we have to do this? Like, there's emotion for like a week, and we're going to risk like destroying the entire legacy of it because of that, right? I don't get that. Like, the whole image of the guy is just how nice and caring and loving and all this stuff he is. And it's like he leaves and it's like, yeah, freaking Packers and da-da-da. It's like, like, can you just not say it and then go play for the Vikings and then just be like, I wish I could have stayed, if it was up to me, I would have, but things didn't work out that way. But no, we got to have a fight. So I guess we're going to fight. And guess what? Packers are my team, so I'm going to back them up. And you went to a rival, so yeah, we're just going to play that up. And then when you come back, there's going to be sort of this like, okay, I'm going to try to drop it. I'm going to try to forget all the stuff that was said, and I'm going to try to forget you playing for the Vikings and all that. And then, whatever. I don't know. It's unfortunate it has to go that way. That's just becoming more and more common, though. Devondre is popping off at the mouth, saying a bunch of stuff that, according to Devondre, he is a walking godlike figure. He is everything that was good with the Packers, and everything that was wrong with the Packers was everything that he said we shouldn't do. So our team is going to win 0 games, I think, now that Devondre's gone, according to Devondre Campbell. All right, why don't we take our first break? We'll come back and hear from Garrett.
Ryan, I'd like to offer my opinion on the matter of Aaron Jones. I kind of look at the Vikings as a assisted living for the NFC North.
Okay.
We have great players come to play at Lambeau, and when they have lived all their glorious days and have pretty much contributed everything they can, but they've lost a few steps, they just go on to their assisted living, where they live out the rest of their life being taken care of and living a posh life, and that would be the Vikings. If they can't afford that posh type of living, that pay scale, then they go to one of these really low-scale nursing homes where they have felons that are acting as nurses, and unfortunately, those places are true.
Okay,
they exist. I would consider that being the Chicago Bears, when you've hit rock bottom and you don't have anywhere else to go. So yeah, we do have players that go on and play for other teams, but we know that we got the best out of them, that their best glorious years were played wearing the green and gold. Did they have a few plays left in them? Maybe. But for the most part, we know that in the end, before they call it quits, they always come back to green and gold for a day and retire a Green Bay Packer. So best wishes to Aaron Jones. But, he's wearing enemy colors now, so we have to treat him as such on the field. Off the field, the guy is a great person that deserves all of our respect. And I have nothing but good things to say about the man. I just question financial choices that he made, but I get it. But still yet, I will always remember him wearing the green gold. I'm out.
It is pretty shocking when you look at how many players left Green Bay and went to Minnesota and Chicago. I mean, as a Packer fan, you just have to... It's not even so much annoying, like, oh, darn it. It's like, do you understand how stupid that makes you look? To, like, literally grab our scraps. Guys that we decided we don't want anymore. And you're going to build your team around that. I mean, Robert Tonyan and Mercedes Lewis and Lucas Patrick and Dean Lowry and Aaron Jones. It's like, guys. I mean, so the Packers are going to draft and develop, and as you said, we're going to get all the value out of them. And then when we determine there is no more value, or soon to be no more value, or whatever, we're going to let them go. And your decision is, ooh, I want them. Ha, burn. Now we can be as good as the Packers. It's the same with the Jets. I mean, I understand that's only because Rodgers is there, but it's like, these are all the guys we don't want. Why are you like hoarding them? Like, ooh, we're going to build what you had over there. It's like, no, you're not. You're literally just building all of the worst parts because all the stuff we want to keep, we kept. All of it. You're dumb. Whatever, man. Again, the NFL is built for parity, as I've said 1,000 times, so it doesn't really make sense that some teams stay at the top and some teams stay at the bottom, other than teams are run by idiots. That's it. I mean, there are some teams that are just run by idiots that just do stupid stuff constantly, and that's a perfect example of it. And that's why some teams will never ascend, despite the NFL trying to pull them up. They're just grabbing on for dear life to the bottom of that frickin' well, just screaming, let me down. Please let me down. I'm scared.
Hey, Pack Daddy. One other thing. I'm scared from Southern Illinois. With the announcement that they are bringing AJ back, we now know that they have Bush, AJ, Emmanuel Wilson in the backfield. Would you agree that now is the time they will go full in on trying to get the best guard and tackle interior lineman as possible to make this running game work and not waste the opportunity that they have set themselves up for?
Yes. Right here. That needs to be fixed. That's a big one. Right? This is debatable, in my opinion. That's got to be fixed. And that is a big priority. The problem is, you start talking about positional value, and it's like, okay, whatever. But if we could just load up, man, and just make this an elite offensive line. Somebody commented earlier that A.J. Dillon needs, a good blocking offensive line to really unlock who he is. Now, granted, that's every running back, but I think him in particular, because he's kind of a build up the speed and get to the linebackers and do his damage out there kind of a guy. He's not super shifty and his vision isn't super wonderful. So if you can kind of get him going a little bit, it'd be a lot better off. So some exponential growth from A.J. Dillon. Obviously you see Jacobs doing magical things, but and of course protecting Jordan Love. So yeah, I'm if there's one thing that's accomplished, I would love to see the offensive line just be absolutely dominant.
Sorry, I got cut off. So I know that you probably answered that question regarding the offensive lineman.
Yeah.
But what I was going to follow that up with is, does it seem like there are more of a need for offensive line than defensive line, considering the depth? And I would say that I know that there are always going to be best player available. But knowing Beauty and how he has the propensity to trade up, if he was going to trade up, would he trade up to get that best offensive lineman available, or would he trade up to get the best defensive back available? And I just want to hear what the argument would be for which one. Which one do you think he views as the biggest priority?
I would guess defensive back, again, based on positional value. So if we're talking about, like, for example, first round, we see Goody traded up. Do I think he did that for, I mean, I guess it could be a tackle, you could argue, but, I mean, if we're saying, is it JPJ or Kool-Aid McKinstry? It's like, come on, man. He didn't trade up for a center. He's getting a corner. So, I mean, once you get into some of the later rounds, if you traded up in the third round or whatever, it could be anything. I guess at that point it becomes more, where is there some desperation, which would probably be the offensive line. Because right now, as you can see on the screen, if you're watching, Sean Ryan is our presumed starter at right guard, and I'm sorry, I know some Packer fans are okay with that. I'm not okay with that. This is 42 pass blocking grade, 50 run blocking grade, 49 overall offensive grade. I mean, come on, man. That ain't gonna fly. I'm super sorry about that. Jake says, best player available, a.k.a. wide receiver baby. Are we approaching a surprise move up for Olu Fashanu? That'd be unbelievable if that ended up happening. I don't know what is going on in the world, but if he falls anywhere within striking distance, like the NFL has lost its freaking mind. All right, one more and then we'll take a break. Hello. Are you there? Are you skiing at the moment? Okay. Hello. I see words.
Never heard it ring.
Whoop. Never heard it ring?
If I'm on,
You're on.
I think the Packers
You're live.
should trade for Justin Fields. Not quarterback Justin Fields. Running back. Flanker. Make this guy an offensive weapon.
Be amazing.
He is hard to tackle out in the open field. Give him some looks in the running game.
Just to rub it in Bears fans' faces, you know what I mean? Just let Justin Fields go out. Just Taysom Hill it, you know? He'll just take the direct snap and just start running and watch him like rip off a 40-yard run for a touchdown. And then we'd get out like fire hoses and just like hose down the end zone and just let him do the little slip and slide thing. And then just like, double barrel fingers to the Bears fans. Oh, he wouldn't do that, but I will dream of that tonight. I can promise you that.
Movement. We need extra running backs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they would go for it, but what would be a draft pick for a really good, looking at him just as a running back skill. Forget about quarterback, he's done. Running back. That guy, dangerous with the ball in his hands in the open field. What say you?
You know what's funny? He probably would have gone for more. Oh, man. Yeah, I would give up more than a 2025 sixth to get Justin Fields as my running back, I think. So, anyways, we just cracked 300, so thank you, folks. Again, we're going to take a break. We're going to go for another 15 minutes or so doing calls, but we will set some things, and if we hit those numbers, then we'll just keep going. And like I said, I will pull an all-nighter if it means the numbers keep going up. Let's see. Travis says trade up for top offensive line is definitely in the cards this draft. Yeah, I mean, depending on who's there, I would be surprised. It's certainly not impossible. I mean, Goot has done pretty much everything that supposedly Goot would never do, but it just feels hard to believe that he would give up a bunch to move up and get like a center or a guard or something. He would have to really freaking love the guy, I would assume. But anyways, let's take our final break. We'll be right back and hear from Steve in Alaska.
Hey, Ryan. Steve up in Alaska. It's late and I'm getting ready to go to bed. I was staying up playing some games and finishing listening to your podcast and then the recent stuff that we were talking about or people are talking about with Justin Fields. The thing I don't understand about this, the real serious thing I don't understand about this is if Justin Fields was worth getting a first round draft pick for if the Bears traded him, then why would the Bears trade him? Because if you have a quarterback who's still really young, he's in his fourth year? So, I mean, he's just coming up on his contract, so he's still young, and he's worth a fourth round draft pick. I mean, if we picked up a backup for Jordan Love, who is good enough to trade to another team, which I think we should do this type of thing. It's a whole other call. I'll make that another time. But trading up to another team, and they were willing to give us a first-round draft pick for him, they're doing that because they believe that he's a starter and he could be a guy that can start for a long time as their franchise quarterback. So if the Bears or anybody talking about Justin Fields thought that he was worth trading not just a first round, but a first round and other picks for, why would the Bears even think about trading him? The whole idea for them trading him is that he isn't good enough to be their starter. So this whole conversation line it's been driving me nuts for, I don't know, the whole time we've been talking about it. Because if the guy ain't good enough to keep on your team, he ain't worth getting a first round pick from anybody for. So this whole thing is just kind of nonsense, and I don't understand why it goes on, why the Bears and this issue is such a big thing. You know, everybody should just get it. They just need to get rid of him. They should have got rid of him earlier. They're not going to get anything for him now because nobody wants him now. It's just silly. It's just so silly. But then again, they're Chicago. That's why we have them down there. You know, I still wish they would have moved to Gary so we could have called them the Gary Bears. But, all right, man, we'll talk to you later. I'm going to finish listening to the show. I'm going to crash out. Have a good one. Bye.
Well, and that was the thing that they just couldn't seem to understand. Like, you know, a lot of these, I don't know, Bears fans, there's different contingents or whatever, but, you know, this idea of a haul, right? Like, you're going to get a haul, or we're going to move up in the first round, or whatever the case may be. It's like, listen, man, if Justin Fields is good, you're not going to trade him. And if you're going to trade him, it's because he's not very good, right? And the idea of like, well, you could reset the clock with a new quarterback. Bro, there's no guarantees that a new quarterback is going to be good. Why would you trade away a good starting quarterback for a guy that is a question mark? Especially for a young, I'm not talking about a 35-year-old. Talking about what, a 25-year-old, 26, however old Fields is? Give me a break on resetting the clock. That's stupid. So, it's like I've been saying on the podcast. It's like, this is, you're not getting anything. Because this is just a failure. You just have to accept that. You're not getting a haul for the number one pick because you're making a pick. You're not getting a haul for Fields because he sucks. There is no haul this year. You get nothing this year. That was my claim from the start, and it looks like I am right because they got jack squat for their guy, and now there's going to be some speculation. Well, maybe they could trade to 2 and let somebody come up and take like Jaden Daniels, and then they'll get Caleb. No. Nope. You're just gonna pick them. Like, stop being stupid, man. Stop it. I'm sorry. I know you're obsessed with the hauls, you know, because Poles is cooking and he gets all this stuff and everything, and just stop it. Joe says Bears fans claiming the Packers should have more Super Bowls during the Favre Rodgers era. Thoughts? My thoughts are win one and then come talk to me about it, okay? How the heck would you know anything about winning championships, you bunch of freaking morons? Jake says their only haul could be moving back from 9, which probably won't net a whole lot because they won't be for a quarterback. Well, and I think they will because they have like 4 picks in the draft. They have like nothing in the draft. That's the other thing. It's like, yeah, we're going to get a haul. Like, bro, you're starting in the red right now. Like, you have negative picks compared to, I mean, if 7 is the standard, you're down 3 picks right now. So your haul is maybe bringing you back to normal. So I don't know. They're so dumb. It doesn't even matter. Whatever. And they're already counting Caleb as a great quarterback. They're already going out and being like, oh, let's see, the Bears got a better quarterback than the Packers. So then obviously we have better wide receivers because we got these great receivers now. And we're going to have a better offensive line because we're going to draft that too. So we're going to have better this and better. So we're probably going to win the division. These guys never freaking learn anything. I swear. When they drafted Justin Fields, I said, look, this guy might be really good. He really might be very good. I liked him in college. I was scared of him. I mean, I was scared of Trubisky too. I'm always scared. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. I'm going to be scared of Caleb too, assuming that's who they draft. And whoever the Vikings draft, because I'm sure they're coming up for a quarterback, I'm going to be scared of them. Because it's a big deal if they get a quarterback, whatever. And I'll obviously accept the fact that it's possible. But you got to wait. You got to wait and see if they're good. You cannot start bragging about something that hasn't even happened. It's so stupid. Jake says, yeah, it's like 1,975 and 122. That's their whole draft. And they do that all the time. I feel like every draft they have 4 picks. Like what was the draft when they got the running back that ended up going to Detroit after a couple years? Like that was their first pick or something stupid. Let's see. GR77 says Ben Solak was talking today that teams continue to say they have learned, but they never do. Yeah, the Bears, it's rinse and repeat. It's the same thing. Now, obviously, this is different because they get the number 1 pick, so it's a much higher. But it's still the same crap. Like, we have almost no picks because we use our picks to go get players, and those players don't really pan out. And even after those players leave, we're still paying for it with no picks. And then we can't build out our roster, and we suck. But yet we got to sit here and brag about how good these teams. Oh yeah, the Bears are cooking, man. They're really getting their hauls and they're getting their picks and they're really making moves. It's like, bro, you freaking lucked. Good Lord. Trubisky was a bust. Justin Fields was a bust. And you traded draft capital to get these guys and you flipped them for nothing. And now you lucked into the number 1 pick because you switched with the Panthers, who ended up getting the number 1 pick. Which even that I can't give you credit for because number 1, you didn't know the Panthers would get the number 1 pick. And number 2, you passed on CJ Stroud, you morons. You are the dumbest piles of crap ever. And we got to sit here and talk about, oh yeah, they're cooking. Oh, they're really going to be a good team. It's like, they're so incompetent. I'm sorry I can't give you any credit for anything. It's unbelievable how stupid you are.
Hey, Ryan Daniel from California.
What's up?
I was just thinking about the free agent signings and just what we've done in the past, and I think the only way the Packers will bring on during the free agency time, right, when all the people are getting bid up, I think the only way they are comfortable with picking up a player is if they have leadership ability, because I don't think they value spending extra on a contract like that. But you look at even Billy Turner, the lowest of that group from 2019. He has leadership ability, right? And everybody was highly thought of him. You got Amos was a leader of the defense. You had Zadarius that was a leader for a while. You got Preston that's still a leader. And then go back. You got Julius Peppers. He was a leader. Woodson was a leader. All these select guys that they get, the only way they pull the trigger to bring them in is they're going to add value as a leader. That's the only way they'll bring somebody in. But it's just thinking about it, right? Because Goody's different than Ted, and with how the Packers do everything, and it's cool to see how he's trying to be different and improve the process. And like what Jacob and Clayton and Jake, those guys all talk about the draft and how everything's going and improving that process. And I would like to see some 8 RAS and 7 RAS guys that are just football guys, right? So, but I'm just cool to see the process, how it's consistent, how it's changing, and these guys, how they got all, like, Josh Jacobs is the leader of the Raiders. McKinney was the leader of the defense for the Giants. So just excited for next year and get these leaders in, see what they could do to our defense, right? So that's all I got. Go Pack, go.
Especially now. I mean, it was probably less important in 2019 because we had much more established players that didn't really need as much leadership. You got to kind of come in and earn your dues and whatnot, And, Amos was only 26. It's not like he's a 30-year-old vet coming in, going to run the defense or anything like that. They already had some guys. But I think, you look at what we have right now, even the defense, the defense, we talk about the offense being young. The defense is really, really young, and also they obviously went through a little bit of turmoil there. And you got Jair kind of goofing off, and there might be some kind of lack of structure. And so there's kind of a vacuum of leadership that's needed. And so you bring in some coaches that are highly motivational and all that kind of stuff. And you bring in some hardworking guys with those leadership attributes and whatnot. And Josh Jacobs similarly, I don't know much about his leadership abilities, but obviously he's a guy who played for a team that wasn't very good, and he's looking to come somewhere where it's like things are taken seriously. I'm tired of screwing around with these guys that don't know what they're doing. I'm ready to put in some work. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Very, very excited about it. And I think you're right. I mean, it's, you want to make sure, especially considering again, the youth and also some of the issues on defense, that you bring in some sort of stabilizing figures, as opposed to some of the other kind of wild cards that are coming in, whether it be just for the money or whatever, which, a lot of guys are, and that's fine, but that's a factor that the Packers might not be super interested in. All right, let's get one more here.
Hey, Ryan, it's Brandon from Indiana. After watching a lot of mock drafts for this year, pick number 25 seems to be kind of in limbo and in flux on what we can actually do with it. So my thought is we're going to package one of the third or the second round picks to try and move up into, maybe the top 12 to find a blue chip prospect, because there doesn't seem to be any blue chip prospects at pick 25. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, that's usually the case. I mean, generally speaking, what we hear is that there's 15, maybe 20 first-round picks. You know what I mean? In terms of, I don't even think they would call them first-round picks. It's tier whatever type of picks. Guys that, generally speaking, are worth taking in the first round. But from my personal perspective, especially the way things are falling right now, obviously, a lot of these guys have not been here. Cooper DeJean has fallen down to about that range. Jerzon Newton was well out of our range. He is now in range. Kool-Aid, I'm a big fan of. Chop Robinson, I'm a big fan of. Now, that's not to say that this is how the draft is actually going to fall, but as far as these guys, maybe not Jackson Powers Johnson as much for me, but as far as these guys go, I think I'm all in on that. As far as trading up, I mean, again, these are kind of the guys that I was looking at. I mean, Nate Wiggins is there. Brian Thomas is there. These are some guys. Maybe Latu. I'm not as big on him, but I mean, if they're in love with him, I could see them maybe making a move there. Maybe Byron Murphy, but I don't know if they expend the resources to go get, at a position that's I don't want to say stacked, but Fuaga's there. I don't know how much. I mean, if these guys fall, like this is kind of the Fashanu, Arnold, and Mitchell are kind of the guys where I don't think we trade up this high. However, if you see any of those three guys fall into like this range, maybe you're kind of looking like, Goot, man, we're kind of getting into the time to start pulling the trigger. So there's definitely some guys that are probably out of range. I think Fashanu, Arnold, and Mitchell. And then also, Brian Thomas and, maybe Latu or something. But I personally, and it's just me, I think DeJean, possibly Jackson Powers Johnson. I'm not in on that. Jerzon Newton, Kool-Aid McKinstry, or Chop Robinson, any of those guys, if they're there, I'm over the moon. And, Goot likes to pick these guys anyways. At pick 25, he'll end up taking, Zach Frazier or Suamataya, or he'll take Xavier Legette or something like that, just because finally, if he really wants me to do backflips, he'll take Braylon Trice. And everyone will be like, what the heck is this guy doing? And I'm like, bro, I told you. A toe-to-so. A frickin' a toe-to-so. Anybody know what that's from? Well, I was going to set the bar at 400 if we could get there, and it doesn't look like we're going to get there. We're slowly trending, but I still actually have to do tomorrow's Packernet episode, so I gotta kind of book it here and get that thing wrapped up. I would probably skip it if I didn't skip it yesterday. So timing has been a bit of an issue for me, but I'm trying, and so we'll do an abbreviated one for tomorrow. But I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.